Let's do it.
Hello, Bay Area. Hello. My name is Sean San Jose. Welcome back, or welcome to Life is Living. Amazing 2020 version of Life is Living, the epitome of the world that we're living in, the most beautiful community-oriented event, outdoors, in the parks, live and everything, now online, like everything. I want to say hats off, congratulations. Miracle makers at Life is Living, headed by the one, Joan Lasato, Bijou, Maximiliano, Britt, the whole crew, the whole community that made this happen. It's amazing what's been one of the great silver linings of this madness that we're living through is to be able to find places to commune and to connect. And Life is Living has pulled off a miraculous thing here, giving us life, even through the internets and all that. It's been beautiful to check in, plug in throughout the weekend with this. And we are honored. I'm representing the group Campo Santo, the performance group that's been making work for and by people of color since 1996 in the Bay Area here. And we are the group that was very, very lucky to be able to premiere with the Living Word Project, the first plays of Chinaka Hodges. And what we're going to do tonight is share a bit of that with you. This, what we like to call the Oakland Trilogy. Again, just everyone, thank you all, community, for making Life is Living happen again. Thank you all, the artists, all the artisans, all the community makers, all the musicians. It's been like a concert ongoing today. It was really amazing to hear all this work, not the least to hear the great Juan Amador spin right before this. Really, really just get me juiced, get me hyped again. That's been one of those strange things about this time, is not being able to see Juan perform in theaters throughout the Bay and then perform his sets and then go into studios throughout the Bay Area live, much like the rest of us, sheltered in, but still making things happen. And we will make a little magic for you tonight. So without further ado, I just want to say, come with us back a little bit. We are going to show excerpts from the first two plays by the great Chinaka Hodge, the gift that the Bay has offered the world in writing, in words, in heart, and community. We did these plays, I don't even know when it was, maybe back in the 1940s at Intersection for the Arts. Her first play, Mirrors in Every Corner. We're going to see an excerpt from that featuring the Grande Dame of Theater, Margot Hall, the world famous David Diggs, the triple threat Traci Tolmaire, and the one Dwight Huntsman on a set created by the great visual artist Evan Bissell. And then we're going to just give you a little taste of that piece, which was the first piece, and then we're going to roll right into the next piece and give you a longer excerpt selections from the second play, Chasing Mehserle, which features Michael Wayne Turner in the same character that David Diggs originated in the first play, along with Halili Knox. Tommy Shepard, who is in the house tonight, Jonathan Williams, Isaiah Washington, Dan Wolfe, the amazing poet Do-It-All, Danez Smith, and Halili Knox, rounding out an incredible cast that did that. Now, after that, the big joy is going to be to do a talk with Chinaka and with some of these great players, from Tommy Shepard to Juan Amador, Traci Tolmaire, and Michelle Mush, Lee will all sit and rap with you all, with Chinaka after this all. And here's the gag of the whole thing though, is we're calling it the Oakland Trilogy, and we're showing you excerpts from the first two because we want to make the third one happen. That's the whole hustle that I'm doing here. The only reason I'm here tonight is to see Chinaka's face on the video screen and to try and make this third play happen. But the third play is going to happen. It's called Ninth and Row, and we'll tell you more about that after you share these pieces with us, which will be about 45 minutes. So around 8 o'clock, we'll come back together and talk with you all. So buckle up. We're going to go across the bridge and back again, and we're going to go into West Oakland, into the world of Chinaka Hodge. Thank you all for supporting Life is Living. Thank you for being with us for this Chinaka Hodge Oakland Trilogy event. And take it away, tech magic workers.
Swear to God, it used to be a black town. Before Oakland West, before Uptown, before loft parties and urban gardening, before Mandela Parkway and Emeryville had anything, before when this was the only place black folks would be for sure, I was white. The only white girl. And a sore thumb, and unwanted around here. And would have gotten in way more trouble if not for looking just like my mama. Just like her. Except she wears glasses and is a little taller. And I stand pigeon-toed like this. I'm about 5'4", 135 pounds, strawberry blonde, green eyes. Whatever. My name is Miranda Truscott, also known as Random, the realest white girl you will ever know. When I was 14, I had a whole brown tub of flaky gel and used to paste my hair to my forehead as a battle sign. I graduated from McClimas High School in 2006. Look at the yearbook. Go ahead. Look. Page 87, fourth from the right, next to Taiwan Trisdale. He alright. He cool. He tried to grab too much when we kissed. He can't afford to live here no more. He used to stay where you live now. There's a story you should hear. A secret. My family will tell you it's all about me, but if you listen close, you'll see that it's really all about them. I try to stay out of it.
Drop some smooth lyrics. Just stay in.
First thing I said was get the white girl out of my house.
That was the first thing?
She said what she said. I said, let me hold her. What you holding? 5 cards, maybe 6. Look.
First thing she did was check if she was breathing, right? Healthy?
6 low, when would you coming in?
Clubs, spades, clubs. Of course she checked. I called the hospital to see if they could do something.
Like what?
They say?
They said they couldn't help unless I brought her in. Said I could bring her in, but it'd be a while before they could see her. And even then,
What did you want them to do?
I wanted her out of the house. I wanted her safe, of course. I didn't know how to. I didn't want her to get.
Nobody gets it, really.
What's not to get?
We're a little confused.
Not really, just start with the names. I'm Watts. Yes, as in riots. But like light bulbs, too.
They call me the row. Mom says like stripes. I say like first row. Like Negro. This is Miriam.
I'm ninth, like Ninth Amendment, like Ninth Ward. Willie with an I-E, that's it.
Our baby sister is called Miranda, like them reading you your rights. But Ninth couldn't pronounce it when he was little, so he just called her Random. Random seemed to fit better. You know black folks and they nicknames.
Call her Pookie, nobody tripped.
Y'all about to be sick.
Like it's her name got him tripped. Set my ass.
So, I had a white baby. Had 3 black ones first. But I'd like to think that stranger things have happened. These are awfully strange times. Iran-Contra.
Iran looming in the distance.
They're coming out with a pill that you can take the morning after.
They got this pill that makes it go from monthly to seasonally. There's a patch for everything.
And Jimmy Swaggart's a pervert.
And Haggard's a pervert.
These are awful, strange times. My husband is sick all the time. All the time. James Baldwin just died. Gas is up to $1.08. Stamps are 25 cents.
44 cents. Hurricane victims still looking for dry land. San Diego up in smoke. Something like 8 years at war. I think we're called periwinkle. Plus energy crisis.
The spokesman for General Electric runs the country, and a black man's running for president.
President. One would think y'all would have something better to talk about
Then my white baby. It happened. She's not light-skinned or pigment deficient or albino. She white. As rice or flour or other things that also come in brown. Like my son Watts. He's 6 now. This is his brother Romare and Miriam, 4.5. And this is their sister Miranda. And she is white as crack. Okay? Fine by you. And we're dealing.
Loves downtown.
Downtown.
Yes, old lady, low cards win.
Now see, I was gonna let you keep a little face when you lost.
Don't need a face when I got a Boston over here.
That's winning all of the cards. Bragging rights till infinity. 13 books to be made, including the one you get for winning the bid. Just watch, you'll get it.
How you have a Boston when you didn't even bid anything?
You're supposed to be my partner.
And when has
Y'all
that
gonna
ever
play
done?
or y'all gonna talk?
What did the hospital say when you called her?
I told you I did not want to talk about this in mixed company.
Mixed company, that's funny.
No, not really.
When are we not in mixed company?
Why do you need to know?
Because it makes a difference.
To whom?
Everybody
Jack of hearts to you, Watts.
downtown.
Downtown, you know, I'm about to get back in.
Except for I'm already cutting. Have you ever known me to care about everybody? Everybody don't feed you.
Never any help, not never.
What does she want me to do, Mike? If her cards beat mine, what I'm gonna do?
I just want to know how she was born.
Born here in the house at night with the midwife and your father. Matter of fact, you can ask him when he comes home what the first thing I said was.
Wow.
No, ask him. Ask your dad what I was thinking and what I was wearing and how I was saying it and all of that. Because I have to say I had just given birth to a baby, a scientific miracle, and I probably don't remember all of the finer details.
So I'm not going to ask Dad. I'm asking you, what did you think?
I thought the same thing then that I do now. I think she looks just like you and your daddy. Right through the nose, right where it sits on her face. But you were so afraid of her.
Was not.
Were too. Oh, y'all are so set.
I'm not set. Neither is set.
I'm gonna lose by myself in a partner game. Kind of twin argue. You see what I'm saying? He's always been like this.
I was scared.
Definitely. Because you thought she was sick. Because, well, she was. The whole time she was in my belly, you'd ask when you could hold her. So excited. When she finally came, didn't even get you to look her in the face.
Is that true?
What difference does it make if it's true? You know how you feel about her now.
Okay, by show of hands, who's confused? That's okay. Me too. It's all right. The card game is bid list, a game for old school black folks. Youngins need not apply. You can only really learn it by watching. And everything else, think about it in terms of memory. Like this particular room has so long a memory that everything that's ever happened here is happening right now. Everything, all at once. Baby showers, wakes, last Sunday's card game, everything. Just know that this is now, that was then. This is now, that was then. This is now, then. Now then. You can know the following things. You must know the following things. Things are fucked up, like really all the way can't get much worse. And this you know about now because you are living in it. Face skyward, ozone a mess. You've known for 10 years. Can't afford gas, puking in your living room, and everyone's on hormones. Now is the time for hope and women and wars to end, and gold is at an all-time low, and Jewish bakers are out of work in New York. I mean, times are rough, right? Now. And then, Apartheid overshadowing everything, remember? Mullen in the Outside Paint. Hammer just dropped his second album, In Vogue in the studio. Lionel Wilson in the office. And Super Mario Brothers 2, fresh out of the cartridge. Some dude named Jobs promising a new interface and a brand new day, which is now. Never more depleted than this moment. See Mom's eyes, Rose hands. Yeah, we are not good. We good, but not well. Then, Dad wasn't here. First, sick all the time, always, and then gone. And no one really knew how to talk about it. It wasn't something you spoke on. Just Mom, 3 badass kids, a newborn baby. Now then, it's not so hard if you think of it like this. It's like everything that I ever remember about this room happening all at once. It's how memory works, especially in a family. That's why you keep bringing up the fact that Rose stole your A's cap 12 years ago, which is why you are sad when the $8 family clock breaks, why you never fixed that kitchen drawer. Okay, and also, you should know that we're telling you this now because we've never told anyone. And we're telling you this like this because not everyone is here. So we're making do. So yeah, keep an open mind. We trust you. Oh, and Random, my little sister, is white.
Because maybe if I know how it happened, I can understand her better.
What's to understand? She white. You said we win.
But she ain't really white, though.
Details.
Make a difference.
What make her not white?
What makes you black?
History.
Politics, the way he's treated when he goes out.
Right.
So it's an issue of what other people think.
Nah, more about what you feel.
Always about feelings with you.
Feeling, touching,
Thinking.
You know what?
Why can't you just say what happened? This shit is crazy.
told you not to use that word in my house.
What shit?
Crazy.
What?
Bro, what? It is beyond me. Really, it is. Absurd. Unhinged.
Fine, I had her in the living room in a tub. Your uncles were there.
In a tub?
Yeah, we were well ahead of the curve, your father and I. Home birth, first in our whole circle. Bad idea.
Why?
Because insurance wouldn't even speak to me about it. Doctors kept blaming the water, saying her color would come eventually.
And?
Well, your dad and the midwife took a step back for a second, and she did the thing, counting toes and stuff, and your dad looked a little concerned, but also so full. And so I didn't work.
Not at all?
None. And so the first thing I said was, let me hold her.
Natural response.
Glad we got your approval. And she was just so beautiful in that Hallmark card sort of way. Tiny ringlets and green eyes and so on. And we weren't really all that concerned because babies don't really look like much for the first little while. The color does usually come. But after 3 months or so, we started really looking.
And? What did you think?
Jesus, baby, you were there.
What was the first thing you said?
The first thing.
Absolute first.
I said she wasn't mine.
Southern California tonight, white policemen are accused of beating a black man, and an amateur cameraman recorded
The
it all.
suspect fired backwards at the officers. The officers returned fire in self-defense.
Residents who say they witnessed the shooting claim the teenager did not fire.
The first thing to say, the absolute first thing to say is that this is not a story about Oscar Grant. Right. If you came to hear that tale, I'm sorry. Hand to God. I apologize, and you're free to leave. There's someone near concessions who can probably help you get settled out. My thoughts and condolences continue to be with the Grant, Johnson, and Mehserle families. The size and scope of the loss, I can't even. But this is not about Oscar. This is about me. And that nigga Johannes Mehserle. Fuck that. You should know there are two distinct yet connected hauntings that loom over my life. The first is the untimely and tragic death of my younger sister Miranda. We will not talk about this now. It's a story for some other day. I'll put that here. The second, and maybe easier for you to latch on to, is the pummeling of and subsequent rioting about Rodney King. That was 92. A few weeks before my 10th birthday. It's pretty simple, you know, I thought. And I could barely see the black and white TV in the kitchen over the counter at the time. It was pretty clear to me, even at that age, the bruising, the grained reel, the limbs almost darting away from the torso, the silent slice of nightsticks. If that's what life is like for black men out in the world, if that kind of beating is even a scant possibility, moreover the inevitability. Fuck that. Yo, fuck it. I'm never going outside again. Ever. But on New Year's, I make this resolution. I make this stupid, dangerous decision to go out into the world. I haven't seen Oakland beyond my block since the early 90s. Well, not in the real world. But me, I'm a cartographer.
What the fuck is that?
I study and make maps.
Then why'd you say that then?
So no, I don't know the population. You know, I don't know all the shops. But I know every inch of this town. Every street, every dead end, every postal code. Y'all know what I mean when I say the town, right? Shit, the city, of course, is across the water. There's also like 0 black people left there anymore. So we really won't concern ourselves with San Francisco much longer. I mean, fuck the Giants, fuck the Niners. Let's go Dubs, something we can all agree on, and we out. Shit, but if we're talking about the town? Yeah, right, okay, right, hold on. Oakland, California, center of the known universe. Lake Merritt in the middle. Everything east of that, East Oakland. Shit, so you got Sobrani, Shady 80s, 69ville, Foothill, Fruitville, Jingletown, Funktown, East Lake, what have you. You know, landmarks include Dixon's Fish and Poultry, the Mormon Temple, and of course, talk of the town, Taqueria. Shit. Then there's the north. You got the 40s, 50s, 60s. 4, 5, 6, right? Shit, the North Pole, and then Berkeley. Whoa. But we ain't even talking about Berkeley. We don't have time to talk about Berkeley. Take forever. Oakland. So you got the West. That's everything below West MacArthur and the BART station, all the way out to the Iron Horses at the port. So that's Dogtown, Acorn, corner, the high rises, blase, whoop-de-whoop, what have you. You feel me? Shit. And this is my block. 18th and some change. Right here in the thick of it. Me, my mama, my brother. I'm sorry. Brothers. And I have a sister. Had a sister. I only have brothers now. Been here our whole lives. Last of the Mohicans and shit. Way I hear it. Everyone else dead. Or gone. Or both. Black men are more and more scarce in the town. So, in this story I'm about to tell you about me and that nigga Mehserle, we got some affirmative action parts. Yo, wherever I can have a black man talk, I will. Even if the person I'm interviewing is white.
Hello.
Or old.
Hell yeah.
Or short.
Short as hell.
Starting with Puck. Puck. Come here.
What about your book?
Come here. Come on. Come on.
Sure.
Puck. Funny, right? None of that Midsummer Night bullshit. His real name is Adam, but he got hit in the face at Iceland hella long ago. So Puck's is stuck. You know what I'm saying? He just got home, was looking for gainful employment. You understand? P.O. said, unless you want to begrudge the enterprising young man his almost 9 an hour,
I hit you with that.
he's going to help narrate. Come on.
Right there?
There you go.
Test, hey. Test, yeah. That's gonna work. Yeah.
Good. So like Puck, everyone fits the description. Everyone. Except maybe a few people. And Mom.
I only used half a cup of bleach since we're almost out. Came out okay anyway. Want me to put it away?
That's my mom. So, this is where I'll start the story.
December 2008. I got it.
You always say you'll put the laundry away, but you never do. Then it piles up on the floor and I have to come in and clean it up. So, once a month.
I wish you wouldn't, Ma.
Wouldn't what?
Any of it. Any of it. Did I ask you to do the laundry?
You sure as hell haven't done any, and
That's not the point. I left it on the floor for a reason.
He in my pocket tell me it's raining. He left the laundry on the floor for a reason. That's the best one I've heard all day.
I want to leave the laundry on the floor, Mom. I'll leave the laundry on the floor.
You raising your voice at me?
No.
No.
Yes.
Anyway, here. It's clean now. You want me to put it away?
Sure.
Sure?
Fine. And thank you.
Miss Abernathy. You remember her?
The one from church?
No, the other one. The one I told you I met when I was out at Rita visiting Roe in line.
Oh yeah, the one you play bridge with. Bridge. Can't believe you go out of your way to play that old white woman game.
Well, we don't have 4 for whist
Since a while now.
Something big, looming, unspoken here. Like the death of a child. Or something.
I was going to say since 9th shipped out again. Anyway, she says they're looking for a bag boy at the grocery store. You know, the healthy one over in the Diamond District, Farmer Joe's? Anyway, they're looking to make a hire before the end of the year. She said you don't need much experience. Pays shit, but benefits once you make full time. Would be good for you, I think. Wrote her number down.
Watts moves away from the info about the job like it's the plague.
Well, you can't sit up in my house no more. Everybody grown still living here needs a job.
Everybody living here? Well, that's a good one.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is. You talk about this house like it's full. Like there's kids and life and everything here that used to be. Hey, yo, Nine, Ro, my niggas, Mom says you need a job.
Stop.
Hey, yo, Random, Miranda. Hey, yo, Daddy. Mama said you can't stay here without a job no more.
I said cut it the fuck out, Watts. You got a problem with me? This house, door is wide open like it always has been. Wide fucking open.
I go places.
You don't go anywhere, Watts. Not anywhere.
I left for a year.
You mean the year you sat up in Man House next door, smoking weed and reading Baldwin? Coming in here stealing string cheese and tortillas while I'm at work? Oh, you thought I was sold on that story? You just went out exploring? You don't think I could hear y'all playing Madden?
So, it was out.
Was it? And then you came back.
And then?
And then you sat down, started looking at these maps.
Watts stands in the light for a second, contemplates going out into the world, dips his toe into the light.
I am going to go out there tomorrow.
Believe it when I see it.
I am. I'm going out there. Out there tomorrow. She think I can't go. I can go. Shit. We about to have a black president.
Say word.
Shit, they fucking New Year's resolution and shit. Yo, I'm out into the world January 1st, 2009. That's the year that Watts Trust Scott really does it. Really does it, you know? Yeah. And it's my town. The town. Why should I be afraid? Ain't nobody scared. Nobody scared.
Watts is standing on the front porch of the house, keys in hand, coming undone. Think Mad Hatter. Think stir crazy and full of venom that needs to spill over. He stands on the top step, as if it's the edge of a cliff, as if contemplating the fall. He turns his head all the way to the left, takes in the sights of the block coming to life. Yes, birds are chirping. He raises his dick thinking we ain't got no damn birds. But also, the hustlers are showing up to work. The homeless folks is pushing carts. And just one blonde bicyclist rides past. The fuck she come from?
If there's a day, this is it. Now, I'm not entirely sure there's a day for doing the insane, doing the fool. But if there is a day to put my life in danger, I guess today is as good as any, right? Maybe just one step. One step. Here you go.
Oh, that's one step.
You need an escalator.
Wow.
Scary ass can't take one step.
It's like, why would I do that?
Fresh air? What's the housing?
1.5 billion reasons to stay my black ass in the house.
There you go with that shit.
But that's the unknown I know. That's the fuse lit, sparking on fire that makes me know I'm real. Out here in all this space, where the light makes moves off little girls' foreheads, where the cars careen around corners, where the bullets have no known trajectories. I know I've said it before, but that is dangerous. It's absolute madness.
is 18th.
That's what I'm saying. This is our block, and that's 18th. I stand here, and I talk to that nigga Big Boy.
Hey, what's up, nigga?
Well, I yell down to him. Yo, Big Boy been shot like 8 times. That nigga don't die. I mean, he too big to move faster than them dudes trying to get him. But everybody's gotta eat, right? So he shows up every day. He had Roe on the payroll before he got knocked, serving the rest of an 8-year sentence.
Free Roe, man.
ATF and shit.
Oh, crazy.
Aggravated gun charge. But that's not me.
And that is 16th.
You're right. This is our block, and that's 16th. I stand here, and I see there's like one new group of these kids that just finished up at Columbia. I'm still on some shit like, who the hell moves to West Oakland if they have a choice?
Right?
And who the fuck told you it was safe for you to be here? But they be out here.
Yeah.
Shit, walking around like they have no institutional memory. Institutional memory. Like the block is an institution. Like the non-profit sector makes any sort of reasonable or measurable dent in the root causes that make my block untenable.
You go back to that sector, not on the bar.
What? Hell, I read. All I do is read.
Yeah, we know.
You should too. I got a stack of books this high, and got nothing but space and opportunity. And if all I ever did was read, I'd be good. When I was little,
Flashback.
I seen the Rodney King thing. And that was it for me. The absolute end. Why? If for any reason I could have my head sliced off by whomever has the biggest knife, why would I put myself into that situation? But Big Boy shows up, too broke to be fearsome. And these kids show up, too oblivious to be fearsome. And I'm the one that knows this particular block best. And I'm the scariest nigga out here.
That's right. Damn sure is.
Mom will be okay, right?
Yes.
Right? Yes. And there's all this world out there that I think I can outthink. I know it. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you say so.
But the gate slams behind him. Startles. Turns back to the house and pulls him in like a tractor beam. There he goes.
Damn! I'm looking good.
Looking good. Damn, sure don't look like that.
None of that.
Can you make it straight though?
You should just get a cut.
Yo, I am not cutting my hair for some bullshit grocery bagging job at some uppity, muckety-muck health food supermarket.
Now how you know it's all that? You ain't never been there.
Yo, is it or is it not some Whole Foods Trader Joe's looking spot?
Not everything you see on the internet is how it is.
You ain't answered the question.
A bald fade would really do you some good. Ninth has some clippers in the bathroom. Or maybe Ro does. Someone. I could do it. I could.
Ma, you try to cut my hair, I promise you gonna draw back a nub.
That a threat? In my house?
Yo, that's a real life promise, Ma.
Child, please. You want it straight. You're gonna have to stop moving. You have your resume?
No.
No.
What I'm gonna say? Watch Truscott. Damn near 30. Homeschooled. GED. Never done shit, never been nowhere. References available upon request.
You got a lot to offer.
Oh, yeah?
I try to tell you that all the time. You got a lot to offer. You're smart. You're personable sometimes. You're diligent. You're trustworthy. You can keep a secret.
No argument there.
You don't think any job has some secrets you're going to need to keep?
I guess.
Don't guess, son. Don't guess. Be confident.
I'm confident.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You act that way. But you gotta feel that way. For real. I need you to go out there today, and I need you to come back with work. Real work. Not just because I need your help. Not just because PG&E want half my paycheck, and not just because Wells Fargo want the other. But because I have to
know what?
Well, Ninth is okay. Ninth is all right. I mean, she active. She get benefits. And she'll probably never come home, but that's her choice. I get it.
Yeah, and so?
Watch turns to see Willie teetering on the edge.
So Ninth isn't here. And Miranda isn't here. And Ro isn't here. And everyone is a fuck up. Every one of my kids is something other than what I wanted. And I need to know that I can raise a man, a real man, that at least I did all right by you, you know? So you have to come back with a job today. Today.
You think I should cut it, Ma? You could buzz it real low?
No, baby, that's all right. It's neat now. You look fine. Just fine.
Willie walks Watts to the front door, swings it wide. She takes hold of his hand, she releases it. She takes hold of his hand, she releases it. She pushes him hard. He stumbles down the steps. She runs back in the house, slams the door. He waits. He takes a step down. Another. 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 And he's off into that big, white, unfeeling world. Amen. Amen.
Yo! Psh, come on, blood. Yo! Come on, blood. Yo! Come on, blood. Yo! Come on, blood. Yo! Come on, blood. Yo!
And then, boom! Same day, after much ordeal on AC Transit, Watts is in the parking lot of the Farmer Joe's in the Diamond District. He finds himself within the white lines of one of the parking stalls.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. You better bring your ass. I said bring your ass. What?
Fucked up.
Your ass.
I'm sick of this shit, man.
Man, it's the bring his ass, not to bring his ass.
Man, it's the third homie this year, man.
Bring your ass.
Somebody got
Fuck.
ass.
Police can't protect us, man. Who can, right? I know it's your boy, done. Stay strong. Bullshit, man.
What happened?
The fuck you mean, what's happened? Nigga died.
My bad. How did he die?
You don't watch the fucking news?
No, not really. You do?
Not really. But I did today.
So what happened?
What you all dressed up for? You knew him?
Nah, I got an interview today.
You got dressed like that to be a bag boy?
I don't know, I mean, I got dressed. I'm here. You know, I need a job.
Why?
Why I need a job?
No, why here?
Why not?
Well, they're for sure hiring.
Yo, what happened?
To who?
Never mind, bro. You don't gotta talk about it.
Yo, my nigga at the train station, right? And he's face down. And there's this cop. Mehserle. Sounds like a stupid name, right? Mehserle. Any case, short story is, this nigga Mehserle shoots my nigga Oscar. That's pretty much all there is to it. Damn, my 10 minutes are up. About to head back in.
Congratulations, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congrats. Woo woo.
Just proper. What's up? So Mush, Juan,
What up?
AC,
Hey,
Naka, Joni.
Tommy, what's with your phone? Or what you talking about?
I'm in the dark right now. I'm gonna be good in a minute. I'm gonna let my background do the talking for me.
Hello, welcome back, everybody. Wow. So we hopefully got you hyped, enticed for more. Again, those are excerpts from the first two plays of the Oakland Trilogy, the great, the one, the only Chinaka Hodge. You saw a piece from Mirrors in Every Corner, and the second piece, Chasing Mehserle, and they will be leading up to a third piece called Ninth and Row, two of the siblings in the piece. So we have this great opportunity now to spend some time just chopping it up with Chinaka. One of the great things about Chinaka too is that she always rolls with her crew. She always brings community with her, but it's always like the top shelf people. So we will not disappoint here. So tonight we're gonna have a very informal, loose talk with Chinaka, and joined by some of her zillions of all-star collaborators. First, you heard him set it off. That's One Way Possible, Juan Amador. Juan also was the sound designer for the second piece that you heard bits of from Chasing Mehserle. So Juan will be here with us, and he's also gonna send us out in his fifth hat of his 94 Renaissance Man hats after the discussion. We have also with us one of Chinaka's longtime running partners, the great poet, educator, and activist, Mehserle Mush Lee. Mush and Naka have spent many, many years collaborating together, and Mush created the compendium, the educational compendium to Chasing Mehserle, among the many, many collaborations with Chinaka. Mush, haven't seen Mush in forever. Very, very happy to see her. And we also have the triple threat, TT, Traci Tolmaire, live from New York. There she is, the gorgeous one herself. Traci created the role there that you saw in Mirrors in Every Corner of Ninth, and we'll be back for more, and we'll talk about that more. And we also have, let the drummer get some. Can the drummer get some? The one, the only, the do it all, the do it everywhere, Tommy James Shepard Jr. Tommy is a longtime also collaborator of Chinaka's and was one of the original cast members of Chasing Mehserle. And now we have for you all the adored, the loved, the talented, the touched one herself, Chinaka Hodge. And I'm going to step out the way and let you all roll.
Peace, everybody. I didn't prepare any statement for now. I'm ready for a lively Q&A, but I don't think I'm leading it. I could be wrong, but that seems a little bit inverted. I'm very happy to be here with y'all tonight. It's a bit surreal seeing both pieces. The first one was the very first play I ever attempted to write on my own, and written in 2008, premiered in 2010. So I was in my mid-20s when I wrote that, and I'm in my mid to late 30s right now. So my perspective on a lot of things have changed, but also so much has either remained salient or has become prescient in some ways. And I can't take any credit for the prescience. That's something else that happens to and through me. So I wrote a play about an agoraphobe in the time. It reads differently when everybody is in the house. It reads differently when everybody is inside. I wrote a play about the dogged pursuit of the lives of Black men in 2010, and that's just so close to now in the grand scheme of how long state-sanctioned murders of Black men have been happening, especially when you consider, Jesus Christ was a state-sanctioned murder of a Black man. So we've been on this for a while, and I'm really, I'm just happy to be here to talk with some of the smartest, most artful, most soulful people I know, people who trusted me to write for them when I had never written it for anybody, and gave me confidence to, pursue my dreams in a number of dramatic writing avenues. I'm sitting in a living room in West Oakland that's very much like the living room I imagine the show is in. I'm sitting here with my family in so many different ways. So I'm happy to be here, and I assume Mush is going to begin the interrogation because that's just what Mush does. Happy solar return, Michelle Lee. Happy birthday season.
It would be just great to hear from all of you all, and anyone out in the world, in the Life is Living world. Please type in any questions and we can hit those up. But wanted to give you all out there in the world a chance to hear these great collaborators talk to one another. And Chinaka is dead right. It would be great, Mush, if you have any thoughts, any observations, any questions, anything to share with us all and with Chinaka, that would be great to hear from you.
Thank you for having me. Hey, everyone out there, and Life is Living represent. So I just got a real quick shout out right here. Shout out to Mark Mamuti Joseph. Shout out to Chinaka. Shout out to John Osato. Shout out to Hadari Davis. I was looking through, I had the honor of writing the educational guide. So this was a resource for teachers who are coming in and bringing their young people or community folks who wanted to dive deeper into the issues that Chinaka was writing about after they left the play, which to me is a critical component of any artful or cultural experience. And as I was looking through the questions that we had put in the guide, I realized how salient they still are, to Knox's point. And I, more than sharing, I just wanted to ask those same questions again. So there were 2, 4, 6, 8, there are 8, and I'm just gonna read them and we can just sit with them. And maybe that might jumpstart some conversation. So the first question that we asked audiences back, I don't know, what year was this, Knock, when you wrote this?
Wrote it in 2008, premiered it in 2010, and then for Chasing Mehserle, it was a process whereby Sean sent me requests for pages every day for I think 7 years.
So this was like 10 years ago. Let's just say that.
The last time we workshopped Chasing Mehserle was much more recently than the last time we touched Mirrors, which was through a collaboration with High Arts in New York City and the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts in DC. We did a stage reading there. We did a couple of rewrites, and we performed it with a different cast out from the East Coast, and it took on a different meaning and a different life out there. So the last time we touched Chasing Mehserle was, I believe, in 2018, but John will correct me if I'm wrong.
So it was a while ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just these are the questions that we were asking. At first, our community in the Bay in San Francisco and at Intersection for the Arts. And then as Chinaka's work traveled, different communities across the country. So, one of the questions is, as we thought about Oscar Grant's life, we asked, what haunts you in your own life? What are the consequences of killing? What are things that make you feel safe in Oakland or the neighborhood that you live in? And what are some of the things that make you feel unsafe? And do you remember where you were on New Year's Day, 2009? I broke a heel that New Year's Eve. I was on BART and I broke a heel. Don't ask me why. What were some of the stories that you heard about Oscar Grant's death prior to reading about it? What or who would you lay your life down for? And what does justice look like?
Cool. Well, I'll jump start because I feel like I have an easy answer to one of those questions. And that is, do I remember where I was on New Year's Eve 2009? I do. I was on BART as well. I was coming back from working a party at 24th and Shotwell. I was trying to raise money to go to Kenya, and so had taken on some Craigslist jobs and was working in the home of a really affluent, newly transplanted San Francisco family into the Mission. And then I remember walking to 24th and Mission BART, getting on and seeing these kids playing hacky sacks on the rails and thinking just like how they were going to kill themselves, how it was like a natural consequence of, of playing with the third rail. And, we were on a train that got held up behind another train due to police activity. So I'm fairly certain that I was on BART coming from the city, going the opposite direction at the same time that Brother Grant was taken from us. And it's that's the genesis behind the play. That's why I wrote it, because it felt so incredibly close, so incredibly close.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, it's amazing to think about, horrifying to think in that 10-year gap. I can remember very vividly, not so much the performance of the piece, but the discussions had around questions like you're asking, Michelle, about the value of Black life, the taking of Black lives, the taking of Black lives out in the open like that, and the lack of breath everyone felt in discussing it. And to your point too, Naka, what the clock has done in these 10 years, it feels like, a fucked up Alice in Wonderland. It's like backwards, forward, it's all broken. And it feels, I don't know, it just feels more horrifying in a way. I actually hadn't thought about the fear, the agoraphobia that you touch on with David and Turner's character so deeply in it. But yeah, that certainly is resonating for everyone. I mean, that's one of the amazing things about what you write, that you go right into the cut with it. And yeah, very intense too, Mush, to think that those questions were the questions that you laid out 10 years ago for something.
Yeah, can I interject here?
Absolutely.
Too? Is like, I know that at the time it was a time where I was raising little Tommy, little T3, and he was very much a part of the process because he had to be, and we had to really navigate how we were going to let him watch the video, how we were going to tell him about what this stuff was and everything. And it was a different experience for us because we were parents and we were in a play. I was in a play, and so I had to really have the extended version of the talk with him because I already had to talk. We already had to talk, so we had to just really navigate that with him and figure out where the trauma was. We were both experiencing the same type of trauma, which is a life was taken unnecessarily. And how do you do that as a parent, but also nurture your child while you're doing it? It was the display was actually a lesson and a learning experience that helped me raise. It helped me help my child to get through this stuff. And that's invaluable information. You weren't saying anything, Chinaka, with your words that we didn't know. It was the way you said it, and it was the way that it was presented in a way that we could understand. And like I said, as a parent, it was I don't know if the word was easy, because it's never easy to talk about this kind of stuff with your kids, but it was it's a necessary thing, and it's also was it was comfort. We were comfortable with how we were going to talk about this because of on what side we were on it, and so this play also acknowledged that side that we were on.
That means a lot. I'm learning from your parenting, Baba.
Word up.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the leap that happened from the first play to the second play that happened in this country that I think informed where it led you to write about. I mean, if we want to talk about it in a larger way, I think you always write about place. First thing I ever saw Chinaka was her great poem about West Oakland, you know, as a kid reading that, and then growing up and still writing about place as a reflection of our country and as ancestry too. But just from the gap in time from writing Mirrors in Every Corner to chasing Mehserle, so much has happened. And I imagine as you re-enter this world at some point of the Truscott family, like what has happened in this decade since. But I think, you know, and yeah.
Yeah, just real quick. I said this play, but I meant this series of plays.
Yeah.
Sean, can I also say something that I remember impressing me greatly about the play itself was that it was a young Black woman writing about men. White men, Black men. That to me was when I knew Chinaka was like a next level writer. Because as a writer myself, I think about what it's like to live in a young Asian boy's body, to navigate the world and navigate all of the different identities that the world is pushing up on him. My son, I'm looking at my son right now. And, you know, it might be a question for Nak. It might be how do you get into that mind? Is it, what led you to write from that perspective? And we had a conversation also why you didn't name the play, you know, Searching for Grant, why you named it really. And I want to know if maybe you might just share really briefly with folks who may not have been privy to that conversation, like the perspective of a young Black woman writing about the male experience, the Black male experience, and then also why you named it Mehserle.
I'll start with the second question. I named it Mehserle for the same reason I believe that sex offenders should have to register when they move to a new town or when they're trying to get a job. We forefront the names of those who are murdered heinously, but I think we should be putting the onus on the murderers to have to deal with that weight in the world. We talk about it, we call it the Trayvon Martin case. Trayvon Martin wasn't accused of a crime. Trayvon Martin's killer was accused of a crime. Oscar Grant's murderer gets to walk free, more or less. And if I asked you to draw a picture of Johannes Mehserle, I think it'd be tough. If I asked you to say what the cops who killed Philando Castile look like, it'd be really difficult. And we have their murals everywhere. And that's because we believe in celebrating, we believe in Odu, but like overall, I think it should be really tough if you kill an unarmed person for you to just move through society, whether or not, you get your recompense in jail. I feel like you shouldn't be easy, and we should hang a light on it. The other thing is, I think Watts is in real pursuit of a real person. He wants actual culpability. He wants justice. And I think he's really close to, not to Oscar Grant the person, but to the sort of idea of an unsung, unrespected, disrespected Black man. So I think he's not searching for Trayvon. he's not searching for Tamir. We know those people. We're searching for them in the sense that we wish they were here with us. But I think Watts is consumed with hunting and killing a racist who hunted and killed others. So a part of that comes from reading Toni Morrison and Song of Solomon specifically, and her supposition of the 7 days, who even the score within 7 days of the killing of a young Black man. And another part of the provocation came from a Michelle Mush poem, wherein she asked how would she feel if she had a child that didn't look like her, to paraphrase. And so those were kind of two of the jumping off points. What was your first question? I'm real long-winded, my bad.
Why are you so fine?
It's right here, cocoa butter.
Black woman writing about male voices, writing male voices. Yeah.
I said this a lot with the first piece. I think all of the characters on stage are me. And so I think I've always been in touch with a plurality of gender. And I've been looking at young photos of myself and realized I've been, in a lot of ways, gender nonconforming for years. Beyond that, I think, I don't know, it's a challenge for me as a writer to step outside of myself always. It's for lack of a better word, it's fun to consider other people's journeys. And I think I spent so long as a performance poet speaking from my own first person historical narratives that it felt really freeing to have arguments with myself, conversations with myself, the one-sided parts of phone calls and texts never returned, the ongoing conversations with, I have lots of brothers and lots of sisters, in like a familial sense. So I think it's not my mom on stage, but it's a combination of a whole lot of Black moms I've met. It's not, my one brother, but these are, yeah, bro. These are all, all of the characters on stage are pieces of me as opposed to pieces of the outside. And then respectfully, and I think this is something I would do really different as a writer, now I wanted to inhabit, the minds of Black men, the minds of trans men. And I think moving forward is just disrespectful. And I think that's what we've gotten to, what I'm saying? We've come into some consciousness within our own transphobia, with our own cis privileging, and with our own stereotyping of what Black male is. And so if I were to do this all over, I would collaborate a lot more with other voices outside of myself. But I think that there has been some great conversation started because I wrote what I thought. I wrote what I felt.
Amazing. Traci, can you expand a little bit on that or respond to that, what it's like to get inside of that strange, fractured, beautiful world that is so many voices and so many different beings, and so clearly about Blackness and family too, from especially in Mirrors in Every Corner?
Yeah, sure. So I do want to start off by saying, Mirrors was the very first play that I did after moving to the Bay. And I moved in summer 2009. And I think we did Mirrors in February, March, April, something. Yes, that sounds about right. Of 2010. Yeah, give or take. And the Bay Area was very new to me. I'm a Chicagoan, and then I've lived in either Chicago or New York most of my life. And the Bay Area was very different. And I think for me, there was a steep learning curve to be integrated into this cast who I think except for Margot and I was from the Bay. And Margot had lived in the Bay for so long, that was definitely her home. And I will say, I remember having a lot of conversations about who Ninth is. And I personally was very stuck on, okay, is Ninth a girl now or is Ninth a boy now? Is it, either or? And I felt a little lost, and I felt a little ashamed of myself that I was so stuck on that. And now that I look back at it and life experience in between, I would approach the character differently in some ways. But outside of that, I mean, I think, as an actor and even as a dancer, like physicality is very important to me, and approaching it from that standpoint really helped me with Ninth. I think it was much easier for me to feel connected to the character through the physicality of it. But, we as people share so much in common, with our hopes, our desires, wanting to be seen, wanting to be able to create ourselves and define ourselves for ourselves. And I think that's a very common thread, no matter who you are or where you are. And I think Chinaka really explored that very beautifully, this question of identity and what does it mean and how do you determine your identity? Is it your physical appearance or is it what you feel inside? Is it both? Is it, it's something that we're expressing every day, all the time, and making a choice about it, whether we intend to or not. So connecting to that for me helped me express a voice maybe that I didn't have a lot of experience expressing.
Wow, beautiful.
I hope that answered your question because I'm long-winded too. So
that's why we all get together around Chinaka.
It's 11, 17 at night over here. And those of you that know me,
You're supposed to be.
Yeah, no. Traci doing us a favor.
We say it's 10 years later and we're 10 years older.
I felt like I had a steep learning curve. She was like, all y'all Bay Area folks.
Yeah, I thought y'all were strange. Sorry. Don't come after me. I know this is a live stream, but yeah, I was
like, where do people go out? You
learned.
Okay, Chinaka, leave.
No,
you learned.
I know. I feel like I'm roasting, but you were like, where do people go out? Where are the clubs? Where is the nightlife? And at the time, there was none. And it's crazy to look at Oakland now and see there's like a pop-up every 3 blocks. There's like people deliver groceries to West Oakland, which was not happening in 2008. Like you couldn't order a pizza to the house I grew up in. And now it's like, there's 9 Ubers circling around at all times. So I'm just saying, like, as you change and we change, the Bay changed in lots of ways. I also think about how the play has changed over the years. So once it was described as my Rachel Dolezal play, because I have a character who is white who believes that she's Black. You know what I'm saying? I've had it described as, the crazy timeline play, like the time bending play, because we're all on stage in the same moment at the same time from 2008 to the present. When I say now in the opening monologue of the first piece, we say now is all the way fucked up and you can't breathe outside. Like it's a COVID play. So it's a real honor.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's timeless, but it's an honor that you guys helped me bring something to life that I clearly didn't know what it was going to be yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what it is it's a really a sadly natural pattern of humanism, of life that you captured and really captured it in a way that was very present, but also let us know that this is a pattern that is happening and that this is something that will happen again if we don't pay close attention to what's happening. You know what I mean? Because that's really what makes these pieces fresh and why we are looking forward to a third.
Yeah. I mean, one of the other things that you say too, Tommy, is, and what Traci had mentioned, Traci, the epitome of triple threat, being a dancer too, and obviously having these pieces shepherded, not Tommy shepherded, but shepherded by the great Mark Bamuthi Joseph, is so much of it is embodying the word, the living word. And I think there's an incredible monologue in the first piece that Dame Hall, that Margot Hall does, that is as much about 2 pages of, pure poetry, but is also the task of placing ancestral trauma into your present body. I know that sounds like some stupid UC Berkeley class task, but that's
hey,
the layers.
Over here, be easy now.
I know.
Easy.
Easy. See,
ended affirmative action. We need to say no more.
That was the other learning curve, because they love their wit, these people.
How come she said wit on the real shady side? Like wasn't witty. Like
what do you mean? What do you mean these people?
They thought they were gonna get me, and I showed them. They thought they were gonna get me. But I will say that one of the things that haunts me, to harken back to those questions, is like right now I do feel like are we in a time where we're learning the lessons. On one hand, I feel like, well, who am I to say what the lessons are? But I know there's some lessons in 2020 that are extremely palpable. And what are we learning and what are we going to do? And I think that is about that pattern. Like here, I mean, the moments for me are every day, but here we are collectively as a nation, at least acknowledging the moment together, if you will, if you want to call this a moment. And what if we don't do anything? What if next year looks, God forbid, worse than this year? I mean, that worries me. That makes me kind of feel like I want to stay in the house, in all honesty. And at the same time, when I do go out, how do I adjust to that? So I feel, some of that of what Watts was feeling. It feels very unsafe in this world right now. And I don't know what the solutions are.
I mean, that's also the beautiful, to me, what you're saying too, Tracy, the beauty of Chinaka's explorations is they aren't about the answers. They're about this brave dive into, blood and ancestry and confusion and trauma and joy, great joy too. I mean, it's very much like you can tell the child was raised in music, it's all so musical. And that is reflected also in the design of what, from the first play, working with a DJ Treat You Nice, to the amazingly talented, the one and only Ambrose Akinmusire, him on his horn and his music that he created for it, to working with Juan and some of Ambrose's stuff for the second too. And maybe Juan and Shepard, you guys could speak to that too, the inherent and maybe also not so obvious musicality of Naka's work. I mean, it is like listening to a mixtape in a certain respect too, and we sort of played into that in the first piece.
Yeah,
Also, call out Rose collaborated with Paris and Amber Struther, aka King. Really, so it's like there's these haunting voices and these sort of prescient asks to be involved with it, and they happened to be presenting at Kennedy Center the last time we were. No, Paris King was involved, but it was Paris and Amber Struther who did the background vocals on what Ambrose presented. And they happened to be presenting their work at the Millennium Stage the last time we were at the Kennedy Center presenting as well. And so we got to overlap, artistically on the show, and they got to come and see a snippet of it as well. So just that 2 cents in there, credit where credit's due. But yeah, Perry King came in and killed it on the bass and guitar. So my bad, one way.
No, not at all. I'm glad to hear it. I mean, I was gonna say, when I first sat with when we did a read through of it. I think I helped out with the read through. I just was like, man, how can I possibly be involved in this? This is just an amazing piece. And Naka's a lyricist, man, and I dabble in that myself. So I just feel like we connected in that way. So we dabble in that way, and I just applied like a lot of the DJ aesthetic to it, and it just felt right. A lot of the choices, of course, based in Oakland, but just traveling further out with sounds of the bar, sounds of heartbeats. It was just fun to really explore that. I really enjoyed playing White Riot by The Clash, even though Naka wasn't feeling it at first. and the Brady Bunch theme was
but
great.
It worked out.
Those are some of my favorite things, but it was just an amazing experience because I saw that play like 50 times or something, counting rehearsals and the show. I was just blown away by it. And that moment, 2009, I don't think I was naive. We were aware of what was happening with the police, as we always have. I think probably everybody in this chat has some connection to that directly through themselves or their family. I know I do. But I think it was a benchmark in the same way Rodney King was a benchmark, in that we really saw the gall of this MF to be like, yo, I'm gonna kill you in front of all these people, thinking that at least in my naive part that was as far as they could go with it. And now 10 years later, it's sad to say it's almost tame compared to what was happening, you know? So it was just sadly, but importantly, a benchmark for us to remember that time in the Bay Area and Oakland in particular. So I'm just honored to be a part of it. Yep.
Word. And I would say musically, to keep it real, I don't even remember my contribution.
You walking me.
Yeah. I don't even remember my musical contribution. I was really focused on like getting these characters across. I was like, oh, this is like some real acting shit to jump into to like, and I knew it was an ensemble role, but in Campo Santo, ensemble is almost more important than the lead because the way we like do an ensemble, we carry the story, we fill in the blanks for the main characters to all this stuff. Anyway, like, and since you said that, I just was reminded of the musical advice or whatever that I had in it, and I remember that was the easiest part about it because of how clear everything was, of how clear of a message that needed to be presented. That was the easy part. Maybe that's why I forgot about it, because it wasn't that much work to just go, oh, yeah, exactly. Juan came very clear with what he felt Naka needed and like all of that stuff, and then we like made it happen in that way. And I'm not gonna say that, I'm not gonna put myself in a we that said I made that design happen, because that wasn't me. But what it was is, like the way we roll, man. We have lines, and everybody has their roles, and we all, the lines get blurred when you're creating a great piece. Yeah. I mean, Juan was like really knew what the pieces and what was needed, and then anybody he asked was in service to that, and he was in service to what Naka needed, and that's all it was, and so that's why, like, in that thought, it was a very forgettable experience because we're doing what we're supposed to do. And like I said, like in the other role of being an actor in it, it was like really trying to get that story across, not my way, but the writer and the director's way.
I'm also thinking on the music front, there's really strong direction from Shantan José on this piece, and I remember it because the first play is set 2008, and then there's a dividing line, and then the present is on the other side. I'm sorry, 2008 towards the present is on one side of the line, and everything that happens before is on the other side. And it's basically the ones and the twos, it's basically, one turntable is playing on one side and we're sampling from it on the other. And so Sean had the really clear thought to put, one side in red and one side in blue, and then also to treat each side like, one of the techniques. I was working with DJ Traci Tolmaire, who's from North Oakland, and so I was kind of like, I just send him what we needed for each little section. He'd be like, what does this one do? Okay, first West Oakland, what does this one do? Okay, the character's gonna come out and say something foul to his sister. But it, like, speaking to DJs to help do the sound design on this, I think is the only way we could have gone. And then with Tommy, I remember very clearly you added a lot of sound designs, particularly in beatbox of the second show, and also just physicality, like Traci was talking about, because you're also a triple threat in that you move, you rap, and you father, and I don't know the other threats that you do, but you know what I'm saying? You act and you educate, and you Grammy nominated, and you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
McDonald's over there. You go.
All that. But yeah, just from a sound point, it's a piece of hip hop theater, and it's my approach to hip hop theater. It predates Hamilton, at least the first play does, and it's based on a whole bunch of Willpower and Sarah Jones and Drowning Crow, and a long litany. My degree is basically in hip hop theater. I have an individualized study degree at NYU, but I concentrated in nonprofit literary arts and basically a minor in hip hop theater. So I was trying to figure out how I would just laughing. Mute yourself.
Not for that one.
No, I say all that to say is I think hip hop theater at the time was really struggling, and it wasn't my favorite form. And I think we're all kind of struggling through trying to make our impact on it and change it to be what we wanted it to be. And I think we're also at the same critical moment in hip hop theater now, where everyone is like, is it Hamilton or is it Nah? And I feel like the same questions were, is it Will Power? Is it Nah? Is it, is it Sarah Jones or is it Nah? And so this was the way that I wanted to touch it. But that to me seems very hip hop because it's incredibly referential and also like disrespectful and like dragging the art forward on like heavy ass turntables through the Bronx. So
you did it the best way because it was never like smack you in the face with it. It's not like, yo, you about to see a hip hop play. It's like, yeah. But it had, because I'm sorry, that shit's corny as hell. Like you just, you had all the elements without saying it. That's why it felt natural, because it has a musicality that it is a musical without saying that word. You know what I'm saying? Like we feel it all throughout the play, even before the music was in it. So
the other thing is, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that as a high school student, I went to go see Felonious do their rendition of Romeo and Juliet at Theater Artaud. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like it was incredible for me to have the Solati in my second, which, wouldn't have happened. And Tom, you know what I'm saying? Everybody.
The architects.
Everybody to have Dan in the piece and not have him MC, to have, Dan in the piece and have him play Lyle, which is like the least, the least damn person I know.
Right. Lyle was complicated. Lyle was complicated.
Yeah, and I think complicated things for Dan who played it. You know what I'm saying? So it kept folding back on itself, and that's part of the success of the Bay Area. Is it's the silver lining to how poorly we can support artists, specifically actors and musical theater actors, to be in the Bay and be in our pieces. So it just means a whole lot to me that we could even cast a show in the Bay with, all people of color, movers, performers, that we had enough, the Campo Santo of it all. So.
Yeah. Hey, can I mention real quick the connection that we had to Mirrors? Because I know that we really was something that was important to us was really continuing the story. Was like we had to have a great knowledge of Mirrors in every corner and the characters and that you built and like all of that. And I personally remember the whole show, so I remember who played what. And so I really was thinking about those people in my head when I was like, oh, this is the story and the story continues here. And so we have to, continue that story. And that was a very, that was like, we were knights. And we were like, we have to defend the honor of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I felt about it. It was like, yo, like we gotta continue this shit on. If we fail, damn it, like the war is over.
That's the alternate trilogy is Knights of the Card Table.
Yeah, can we talk about learning bid whist? And
everybody should talk about it. If your cousin brags to you they're the spades champion, tell them they can get up from the kiddie table and learn bid whist.
Y'all, I don't remember how to play it. That's terrible. I was probably the only one that didn't know how to play it because we only played spades in college. But we are really playing bid whist during
So and
saying lines at the same time.
Saying crazy lines about two different time periods, about the past and the present and phenotypes that don't exist and all kinds of other stuff like only Chinaka Hodge can do.
And the things y'all let me get away with that they don't let me write television, boy, I tell you.
But Naka, what Tommy says, where is your head in thinking of the three pieces? I mean, the amazing thing about Naka too is she came in with her first piece, and not only was it as bold and crazy and amazing, but also like time traveling, embodying trauma, periods, decades, science fiction, Octavia Butler, all of that. But she already knew too, because, you know, in its essence, it's about a family. So it's a family play. That's what really makes it the trilogy, is it's focusing on different people in the family. But how do you feel now about re-entering the world of the Truscotts and entering the third piece, which is called Ninth and Row?
As always, I'm terrified. That's just like the writer neurosis in me. But beyond that, there's some, this is kind of like the Scottish play for me, in that every time we present it, the work affects the artist in it. And we have, we've always almost had a transition of one of the fathers of the actor who plays Watts, whose father passes early. We presented it again, like I said, in New York and in DC. And so I kind of think of this, the next piece is like 3.5, because we've presented a different show with a different cast, and it took on a different life. When we performed it in DC, like almost everybody on stage was experiencing some sort of trauma, and it got magnified by the work of the show. So I want to be really careful and write some very explicit joy into the last piece, because I think in 2008, I was good at doing the ritual of grief. But I'd like to, if I can, like, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I feel like I write something and it happens. So I'm like, I'm gonna try to just write some just very, just joyful, like uplifting, strong monologues and hope for the people to do, and see what happens if we put that same kind of Campo Santo incantation to work. I want to do a series of letters, which I think will be a good span of all the forms that I write. I think epistolary is, you know, just an amazing form of poetry, and I want to engage one of my other favorite poets. I don't know if he's agreed yet, so I don't want to put his name out there, but I want to engage one of my other favorite poets who I think is, at bare minimum, more qualified to tell the story I want to tell. But I'd like to have some engaging dialogue back and forth with about Ninth and about Row. When I wrote the piece, a couple of my friends were put away for life terms, and Row is a character who's engaged in the prison system. And some of those folks are up for parole right now, partly due to COVID, partly because the law has shifted, and they will have satisfied the terms of their enslavement. But I want to do right by it. So the premise of the piece is we're writing back and forth between prison and war. And, you know, I think I felt differently about it when I started ideating on this play 2-3 years ago than I do now. And then I will about, you know, the prison industrial complex when the show comes to be. So I'm terrified is the short answer, but that's the best place to start art for me. Either, you know, in either anxiety or terror, because the only thing that can happen is I will become more familiar with it and then slay that dragon. So yeah, I'm scared, but ain't nobody scared.
You be safe.
Ain't nobody scared. No, you be safe.
Yeah, so everyone should keep their ears especially pointed and ready, because we're gonna bring all 3 of the pieces back in an audio format, which will also be the premiere of the third piece, Ninth and Row. It also means that, I'll just say it because it's recorded and it's live, that David Diggs will be back too, so that'll be cool.
David Diggs.
I heard of him. I heard of the dude. But so it'll be great to have all of the family that you created on stage, and new folks as well. You know, everyone from Margot and Traci, Tommy, Juan that we have here, and new folks. So that'll be cool. I don't know if there are any questions on the other end, or if anyone has any parting thoughts, words, expressions, or anything to give to Miss Naka before we wrap up the night and let Traci get her beauty rest.
Now I'm up now. I just want to say I miss you all, and I feel very blessed to have been a part of Mirrors in Every Corner. and to be a part of the Campo Santo family. Tommy. My buddy, I miss you. But yeah, I can't wait to see these pieces revisited.
You're going to be doing it, so get ready.
Well,
that's the best way we do casting is we just tell people they're doing it. So
yeah,
we might as well start dropping things now.
Yeah,
I'm already new role for the third piece.
That's what I'm saying.
I might write some
That's ninth cabbage
role, different, something closer to who I present as in the world. Maybe we'll put me on stage for once.
I love it.
I'm already thinking of musical sections for a non-existing thing that may or may not get used that I might forget about later.
Man, Tommy, you too deep for me, man.
I used to hate Bella, and now it's my favorite word. Yes.
I do want to shout out, I think for the last intervention of Life is Living Festival. So I just want to thank Campo Santo and also Living Word Project Youth Speaks for this dovetail. Living Word was one of my other brainchild, along with in collaboration with Bamuti to create it, and then Jono Sato, who architects it all, and then the amazing staff at Youth Speaks, Bijou McDill. I can't name everybody who's involved with it. Mush obviously has been an integral character, integral player to all the things we presented so far tonight. But I came home to West Oakland this weekend because I had to, because it didn't feel right not to be here for both Life is Living and for the presentation of the play. I spent LA and the Bay for the last 10 years because that's what one has to do if you want to be a dramatic writer. So it's just an honor to be back with family and to have the family reunion feeling from the opening ceremonies to the close here tonight. And I don't take it for granted. I know it means a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and late night worrying and tech failure and tech success. And yeah, it's just not lost on me that the entire community has poured for nearly 20 years on one set of plays and, 13, 14 years on the festival. Just, it makes me weepy that my family would care so much about ideas I've had, like in the shower, that come to pass on stage. And you force conversations with your children and force joy upon your children. And I'm just so honored. And I have a lot of communities, and I don't want to knock my community in the TV and film writing world because they're beautiful in their own ways, but there's nothing like the Bay. So I love and appreciate you. And I thank you for giving me platform after platform, springboard after springboard to imagine and to dream.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And yes, to echo, thank you, Life is Living. Jono Sato makes the world spin on its axis. Thank you, Michelle Mush Lee. Thank you, Traci Tolmaire.
Thank you,
Solati.
Okella.
Yes.
Okella. Thank you, Okella.
Yeah. Tommy Solati Shepherd. And we are going to be gifted one more short set from the one Juan Amador, DJ One Way Possible. And thank you all. Keep supporting art. Keep safe. Stay ready. We're going to rise.
Juancho Villa.
Much love, y'all. All right. We good? Okay. Let's move a little bit. Much love. Life is Living. Chinaka. It's great to be part of this family. We love you. Let's go.